Welcome back, algebra students. We're going to take a look again at arithmetic sequences. I'm going to apologize right now because I know the bell's going to hit us during this video, but I hope you can excuse that. We talked about this in the last lesson already. This is what the explicit formula looks like for an arithmetic sequence. And I did mention in the last video, it's going to look very similar to slope-intercept form. Instead of a y equals, it'll be a sub n equals. Instead of an x, it'll have an n. But otherwise, the form is going to be very familiar to you. So here are the parts of this again. So a sub n, remember that's the term that we're looking for. A sub 1 is the first term in the sequence, right? That's right there. The common difference is what you're adding, or it might look like subtracting if it's a negative, to get to each next number. And remember, the n is the number of the term that you're looking for. So if we're looking for the 50th term, the n would be 50 in here. So we're going to just substitute in all the stuff that we know, which will be the a sub 1 and the common difference, the d. And then we're going to simplify when we're writing these equations. So in number 1, the first term, a sub 1, is 12. And the common difference, this is increasing by 8 each time. So on this one, I'm going to write down the explicit formula. It's a sub n equals the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference. And you should have this written down on your paper. I'm not saying you have to have this memorized, but write it down so you've got it available so you don't have to keep looking it up each time. So any term in my sequence would be 12 is the first number, and then n minus 1 times the common difference, which was 8. That's all we do is we just put in that number, and then we clean this up. We're going to distribute. So I'll have 12 plus 8n minus 8, or plus a negative 8. And then we combine these. Remember, they're on the same side, so you're not going to try to move them to the other side of the equal sign. We're just combining them. I'll put my 8n first, and then 12 plus negative 8 is 4. If I wanted to find the 20th and the 50th terms, all I have to do is substitute in those numbers for the n. So a sub 20 is going to be 8 times 20 plus 4. Well, 8 times 20 is going to be 160, plus 4 is 164. So without having to write out 20 terms in my sequence, I can say that the 20th term would be 164. If I wanted to find the 50th term, oh, and I wrote the wrong number there. The 50th term would be 8 times 50 plus 4. Well, 8 times 50 is 400, plus 4 would be 404. I would not want to have to write out, there was a bell, sorry. I would not want to have to write out 50 terms to get to that, but this is how we use the explicit form for this. On this problem, the first term is 32. The common difference, this is actually decreasing. It's decreasing by 9 each time. So my common difference is actually a negative number. So here's my sequence. The first term is 32. N minus 1 times negative 9. Just putting in those two numbers, and then we clean this up. Negative 9n. And be careful here, that's negative 9 times a negative 1 is going to be a positive 9. And then we'll combine those like terms. So negative 9n plus 32 plus 9 is going to be 41. Now, if I had to find the 20th and the 50th terms, that's where I would say a sub 20 is going to be negative 9 times 20, which is negative 180, plus 41 is going to be negative 139. If I needed the 50th term, I would have negative 9 times 50, which is going to be a negative 450, plus, I didn't even write that one, plus 41. Now remember, that was a negative number plus a positive 41 is going to be, oh, and I just hit something wrong on my calculator. There we go. Negative 409. Okay. On this presentation, I have a whole bunch of examples. I don't think that we probably need every one of these examples, but I do want to go through several of them to make sure that we're comfortable with this. First term is 5. Common difference, again, these numbers are decreasing, and they're decreasing by 6 each time, so it's going to be a negative 6 for my common difference. A sub n will be 5 plus n minus 1 times a negative 6. So let's clean this up. Negative 6n, and that's really a negative 1 that's going to multiply with the negative 6 and get a positive 6. These two combine to make 11. So the 20th term would be negative 6 times 20, which is going to be a negative 120, plus 11. Gives me a negative 109. And the 50th term. Negative 6 times 50 is going to be negative 300. Negative 300 plus 11 gives me negative 289. So I hope that you can see the substitution is just putting that number for the term that you want into the n. For this problem, a sub 1 is 30. Common difference is 3. If you're feeling pretty confident right now, you might want to just pause this video and try to get your sequence and see if you can match mine. So a sub n, 30 plus n minus 1 times that common difference. And these match. Okay. Then when you substitute in, a sub 20 is going to be 3 times 20, which is 60. 60 plus 27 is going to be 87. And the 50th term is going to be 3 times 50, which is 150. 150 plus 27 would be 177. Now, I chose to have this problem in here because it's starting with negative numbers, but they are increasing. And again, some people look at this and they assume that those numbers are decreasing because they're going from 30 to 20 to 10. But remember, these are negative numbers. So as we are moving forward, well, let me start with this. My first term is negative 30, but my common difference is actually increasing by 10 each time. So negative 30 plus n minus 1 times 10. I guess I didn't really need the parentheses there, but you can have those if you'd like. So 10n minus 10. And those match, but be careful because it's really a negative 10. So my sequence would be 10n, and then negative 30 and negative 10 would be negative 40. The 20th term, 10 times 20 is 200. 200 minus 40 would be 160. And the 50th term would be 10 times 50, which is going to be 500. 500 minus 40 is going to be 460. This is decreasing. The numbers are getting smaller, but it's decreasing by 100 each time. So my first term is negative 7. My common difference is negative 100. So negative 7 plus n minus 1 times negative 100. Negative 100n. And then this is actually going to be plus 100. We like our variable part first. Negative 7 plus 100 is going to be 97. 3. And at the same time, I'm not going to show the substitution on this one because I want to get to this. The worksheet for today, you're finding the first term and the common difference, and then you're going to write the sequence and give me those same two numbers. 20th term, the 50th term. It's just substitution. Make sure you check your answer key in Schoology and take the formative when you're done. Let me know if you need help.